Box Nation is in Newport, Wales, for the very first time, a country that down the years has produced some of the real greats of the boxing ring.
My dad basically went to meet the box. You know, I was born in the box.
The 60s were good years for Wales. They produced two men who became world title challengers. Curvis came from a famous Swansea fighting family. He could trace his ancestry back to the bare-knuckle days of James Figg and Daniel Mendoza. I always thought Curvis had the ability and the punch to be a world champion.
3 B's are one. All right, 3 B's.
Fires jumping at Lewis, bombarding Lewis with blows. There's the bell for the end of the fight.
Boxing is not the brute force and ignorant stuff that lots of people would have you believe. Boxing is an art.
The real home of Welsh boxing is the Rhondda Valley, where two of the finest British featherweights of all time were raised. Jim Driscoll, known as Peerless Jim, and Howard Winston. The Mexican world champion had put so much into these last 2 rounds that his strength was practically gone. And as this remarkable fight moved into its last minute, Winston, quite unbelievable, began to come back at him.
I'm most sorry for my people, my friends who came up to watch me, you know, and I did my best. They all seem happy, so that's the way it is.
Round 9. He waited all that time and finally caught up with him, just when Lang was doing his flashiest stuff. And Lang's going and it's stopped. That is one of the most astonishing wings you'll ever see.
There was a lot of honour about them, and a lot of pride in new titles. If you won a British title in those days, it was something.
Only a knockout can snatch victory for Palermo, but he's almost out and trying to hold to avoid a KO. Eddie's throwing plenty of punches as Palermo hangs on grimly. He's got Palermo groggy.
And new WBO super featherweight champion of the world, Barry Jones!
Every fighter in the country, in the world, I would say, is their ambition to become world champion. Some got the ability and throw it away. Others haven't got the ability and grafted it.
And never mind those greats from the ring. Wasn't it good to see Harry Carpenter again there? In the company tonight here of the former world cruiserweight champion, the current British cruiserweight champion, Enzo Maccarinelli, and the little fella next to him, of course, is Steve Lillis, who tells me he's done a bit of weight over the last week or so. Where?
Don't you start tonight.
Very nice to see you. And so what is it about Wales, such a small country that provides a multitude of fighters?
Just breeds fighters, you know. This it's been some, just looking at the montage now, it's been some cracking fighters.
Oh, not half.
Yeah, just got this ability to breed fighters all the way from Howard Winston, Colin Jones, and obviously the main man was Joe Calzaghe.
Is there a you say it's good fortune that we breed good fighters. There must be something in the genes down here.
Yeah, there's nothing in the water. I think it's just, you know, I think we've got rugby as the top sport in Wales, and I think not far behind it is boxing. We've always got football and we've always got boxing, but, you know, the amateur game is producing some good fighters at the moment, some great boxers, and they produce some great professional champions, and they are currently starting to produce more professional champions.
This fella, of course, has got his own place in Welsh history, British boxing history.
And I'm joined here, I'm at ringside with one of the guys who was actually in that montage coming towards the end, former world champion.
Of getting out of poverty and trying to make a life for yourself. And also, you know, it's a rich history of Welsh fighters, and you know, we see that as inspiration and want to emulate them.
And also, what happens when the fighter does take off down here? The crowd really get behind him.
Well, Steve Robinson is the perfect example, isn't he? You know, I mean, that guy come from his obscurity to filling up the ice. Yeah, well, he filled up the ice rink, and if we had a bigger arena in the Cardiff, he would have filled that up also. You know, and that's really I think was from the 90s onwards he brought the resurgence back in Welsh boxing. For someone like me, he was someone we looked up to. You know, and then you would look into history and see all the other great fighters like Howard Winston, Jimmy Wilde, you know, Jim Driscoll. There's just a list of fighters can go on. Colin Jones even, you know, there's loads.
And of course, in modern times, Joe Kawasaki, 2 fights alone did nearly 90,000 inside the millennium. Obviously, we've got at the moment, we've got Nathan floating around, we've still got Enzo floating around. But and just finally, Barry, in that picture of you, you know, having your hand raised there, we saw a fantastic matted chest. Now, is that something you'd purposely grown, or did you hide it for the night? Because if so, do they do them for heads? Because it was a beauty, Baz.
International man of mystery, wasn't I? Austin Powers has it back now, and I think he's going to lend it back to me if I make a comeback.
Oh, there you go. Back to you three on the platform.
If he wants a fight on that subject, by the way, I'll put him away. Don't worry about that. Hairy chests are my speciality.
I might beat you.